Hi everyone, welcome to this class. Today we'll discuss about Flexbox. So let's go to our desktop, web dev begin folder and open its code. So many people can't open it like this. That's because in your installation of VS Code, you didn't check the open with code feature. But then if you want to open it, you can just quit this. You go to your VS Code, then click on file, open folder, click on web dev begin, and that is it. So today is week 3. We're discussing about Flexbox and Grid. We'll talk about Flexbox today. It's not going to be a long one. So let's have our index.html and styles.css. So I'm not going to really talk too much about Flexbox and Grid. So I have the perfect game for you guys should you guys can enable you to learn Flexbox easily. So let's start our let's start our normal stuff in HTML. Exclamation mark then enter. So I'm just going to be using navbar. I'm going to be using navbar to like explain how Flex work. So I might not touch everything, but that game would enable you to know the most important things in Flex box and Grid. But then I'm just talking about Flex today. So let's continue. So let's have maybe a nav bar. It has like three items. This. So a nav bar with an on ordered list with a list, but then let me just have it straightforward instead of like that. Let me just have it straightforward. I don't want let me have it straightforward. Let me have home about us and contact us. So this is it at the moment. We've not done anything. So let's link our styles.css in the header tag. Link well style sheet styles not styles CSS. And what did I use to put here? Text. CSS or something. But it will still work either ways. So let's go live. So this is how it is. By the way, let me have an H. Let me have a div first of all. Then I'm going to have an H1 that represents logo. Then I'm going to put this navbar inside. So let's check it. Exactly. Now you can see that the logo is on this line. The O navbar is on this line. So there's something we can do. So for it to be on the straight line, we can flex it. So let's give our div. So what you want to know is what you flex. For example, I'm going to show you for example. So you want to flex anything, you start with the parent tag. So let's look at our example again. This is logo and this is home about us, but we want to be on a straight line. The home about us, these three stuff should be on the same line with the logo. But then it's on this side. What can we do about it? So when you flex the parent tag, it means that it should become role. That should become role. Let's try it. Let's give this div a class of um, let me call it container. Let's go to styles dot container display flex. So let's check it. You see, it has become straight line. It has become like a roll, but then it's because this logo is too big. So let's check it out. Let's inspect. So when we check the container, you can see that they are in the same container now. But this home about us contact us is to the top too much. There's a way we can do it. So why using flex? Remember, this only works when you have displayed flex. Let's check it. Let's do it again. So for us to make it center, right? For us to make it center, you can do align items to be center. So let's check it. So can we see that align items is going to like align it vertically. When you use display flex, you want to align it and use align item, you want to align it vertically. So we cannot check that. You see that is in the middle. They are in the middle. So that's how to do it. So you can also use justify content. Justify content to be center. That will move everything to the center. Can you see? We moved everything to the center. But you know a typical nav bar. A typical nav bar would have the logo here and the nav bar separate. So for us to do that, we can use justify space between. So that means there'll be space between this and this. And why did I say that? If you look at it, there are two things. Why I say there are two things is that H1 is a child, why this nav is a child. So when I use if I use space between, that means there'll be space between H1 and nav bar because there are two children inside container. So when you use container and you put display flex, you're going to flex them to the row. Now, so instead of justify content center, let's do space between. There'll be a space between the H1 and the nav bar. Can you see? There's now space between space bar. So we can do space involate. That means there'll be space at the left, at the center, at the right. Can you see? There's equal space at the left, equal space at the middle, there's equal space at the right. Can we see that? So if we use space around, it's only going to be at the left and right. Let's try it. Can you see? It's only at the right, left and right at the space. But this middle, it has more space than the one at the left. That means it has equal space around it. Left and right has equal space around it. So that is all for the around. But then you will notice that this about us, home about us container, there's no space. There's no space in between them. So for us to put space to, we can make this nav bar, the whole nav bar to be flexed to. So, but then let me put a space between for the whole container. So that means there's space between the logo and the home about us. So let's go to the index.html. Let's give our nav bar a class of, let me say nav bar. So let's pick it dot nav bar. First of all, make it display flex. If you just put ordinary justify content or align items, it's not going to just work. So you have to make it display flex first of all. Justify content space between. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Refresh. It didn't work. Why? Because there's no space. If you look at it, that's why we need our inspect elements. If you look at it, there is no space. Look at navbar, it just has only this amount of space. So there's nowhere it can justify the content to. There's no place it can justify the content to. Likewise, no, see, there's so much space. So for us to give space, you see that logo has this small space, and the navbar has the space. So there's nowhere the navbar can justify content space. There's no space. If we want to do that, we can give navbar a certain width, give the logo a certain width. So we can do that by doing giving it a width. Let's say that I want to give the logo h1. I can give h1, let's say a width of like maybe 30%. Why this one has the rest? Let's check it now. Okay, let's just give it 70%. Navbar with 70%. Oops, no, 70%. So let's check it now. So you can see that this logo has 30%, while the rest, as that means the whole of this is 70%. Then you now justified it between. I mean, there's space, equal space between each of them. So that's how you use flex. That's how you use flex. But then, you can see that this space is too wide. It's too wide, so it depends. So there's something called gap. Something we call gaps. So let me remove the space between. So that gap is for mainly flex and grid. So if you don't display flex or grid, you can't use gaps. So let's check it now without the. So you can see everything is still together. So we can give it a gap. Let's say we give it a gap of, let's say, 20 pixels. That means gap of navbar. You know the navbar now has 3 items inside. So it's the parent we will target. So that gap means gap between the items. So home between about us, there should be like 20 pixels. About us between contact, there should be 20 pixels. Let's check it. So you can see that small change. That small one. So let's make it pronounced. Let's make it like 150 pixels. So you can see more space. So this is the gap I'm talking about. So in inspect elements, you go to this side. So you can see that gap. Those are the gaps in between them. Those are the gaps. So another thing I will teach you is flex direction. So this flex direction is row. So everything is inside this on this row, right? So if you wanted to make it like colon instead of on a straight line, but make it colon. So you put the flex direction to be colon. So let me remove all of this and see what happens. So you can see that it came under. So if we also use this nav bar instead of display flex and make the flex direction to be colon, the about us will come under, contacts also is also going to come under. So let's try it out. So let me leave the width for now and put the flex direction to be colon. So let's check it out. So you can see that about us came under. So this gap is just the gap between them, the 150 pixels that we used. That's how you do it. Now, since we did gap, we use the flex direction to be colon. So you can now use. So you want to be in the middle. You know the other time we used justify content to be in the middle, to be in this middle. But since you're already done to flex direction to be colon, we can't use justify content in the middle again. We have to use align center to be in the middle. So that will make it to be in the middle. That is it. So you can also make this align center. center too. That is it. There's in the middle. Let's check it. Your container. That's because we gave this thing 30%. That's why it's not moving more than usual. So this logo now, we can just make the H1 to be text center. So that will just push it in the center. So you can see it aligns very well. So I've actually touched most of the things in Flexbox. I've touched, if not everything in Flexbox. But then let me just show you. So we are doing a capstone project of Flex, using Flex or Grid. But personally, I use more Flex. So in terms of pictures, okay, you want the left side to be like maybe a certain percentage. No grid. Things are just in grid shape. So you use more of grid than Flex. So everything is just Flex, Flex, Flex in the website. So look at this post now. You can see daily.dev, see the logo, you see the search bar, and you see these other ones. See, all of them is a flex, but then this one has a smaller width. There's now gap in between them. These are gaps. But then this one has more gaps, so you can really use gaps. So maybe probably the person use margin, use margin for this. But then look at this in between the search bar. In between the search bar, you can see this icon and search. Control plus K. This container is flex. So these two things are in a div. Icon and search is in a div. Control plus K in a div. But there's a div that owns that that contains the two. There's a div that houses both the div that contains icon and search and the one that contains this control plus K. So now they justify content to be space between. Alright, there's this space. And you now make this one flex, this one to flex. Look at this one too. So instead of flex row, it's flex colon. Flex colon. So this one could be a grid or a flex, depending on which one you choose. So this one is like a div that houses everything, but then it takes only three divs inside. One, two, three. That has equal height, this equal gaps. You see that? Equal gaps, equal everything. So now let me show you the game I'm talking about. So when you search on CSS Flexbox game, when you search for game, or you search for Froggy, CSS Flexbox Froggy. So let's go down to this. So this is it. So you start from level 1. Let's remove this. We tell you that welcome to Froggy, a game where you help something. So there's justify center, there's justify to the end, flex end. So you see, I didn't even talk about everything. Look at it. They're telling you that flex justify content has the following properties: flex start, flex end, center, space between, space around. So we did space around, space between, center. We did a flex start. Right now, this frog is on flex start. So when you don't say justify content to be flex end. You see, that means it should move to the end. Once you pass it, you move to the next level. So let me remove this. I've already answered it. So this one is that you should make it to be in the center. So just do center. You go to level 3 like that until you become master of it. This one is also going to be in the center. I'm saying it, but I'm not going to be answering it for all of you. Let me just stop at 3. So you guys need to finish this level. Justify content. I'm sure it's center. Yeah, it's not center. Let's do flex end. Flex start. Oh, what am I doing? The space between. See, space between. It's not so correct. Mhm. Let me think about it very well. Ah, not like space around. So there's equal space in the left and in the right. Let's check it. Ah, that is it. Space around, equal space at the left and right. But then total that's in the middle. So that's how it is, sure. So just continue it. This one is more of I'm not going to answer it. So I'm going to leave it for you guys to answer all of that. So that is the end of our class for on Flex. So please go to flexboxfroggy.com. Do it before our class on Saturday because we're going to be making a project. So we're going to be using more of flex, 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 flex. You get. By the way, that's the end. See you in the next class. Bye for before I go, I always forget. Let me push this change. Let me push this change to so git add, git commit. Please, if you don't understand this, please reach out to me. Yeah, reach out to me. What do we talk about now? Flexbox. Then git push. Please reach out to me. So let me check my git topic that's gotten there. Updated now. So this is it. Flexbox that we just did. So with that being said, bye for now.